Back in November of 2018, voters in the state of Florida passed Amendment 13, which bans the wagering on dog racing in Florida effective of January 1st, 2021. Now that we are only a few weeks out for the end of the racing season, I want to take this episode of the Greyt Show Greyhounds and use it as a final call to action to help in the placement of these newly retired greyhounds. Shortly after Amendment 13 was approved by voters in Florida, I put together a video discussing the measure. So I don't want to rehash all details today. I'll link to that video at the end of this one. Instead, I want to discuss what's going to be happening over the next few weeks and how we can all help out. At the time of voting for the ballot measure, 11 of the 17 remaining greyhound tracks in the United States were located in Florida. Now, since then, some of those have closed early and they've adopted out all their dogs. But most of them are waiting until the end of this year's racing season, which means that there is still a significant active racing greyhound population in Florida that will be retiring on this coming New Year's Eve. Now on that next morning, New Year's Day, no one is taking the holiday off. Kennel staff will load up those newly retired greys into dog haulers and they're going to hit the road. They will drive all day and all night to various greyhound adoption organizations all across the country. Some adoption groups have their own kennels to house their greys, and some have volunteers who foster in their homes. That's how our local adoption group works. And when that dog hauler pulls up, it can be a little chaotic. But it's also really exciting and a lot of fun. All the people in our foster network show up and we figure out who is taking which dog home. All of these dogs are wanting everyone's attention. They love people so much, so it just becomes a giant snuggle fest. These foster families will then make an appointment with a veterinarian, probably of the adoption group's choosing, for the dog to get spayed and neutered, to get their teeth cleaned, to be microchipped, and to get their vaccinations updated. Generally, the adoption group covers that cost, which can easily come to $500 or more per dog. Once their vet appointments are completed, these dogs are available for adoption. Many greyhound adoption organizations have spent the last 2 years preparing for this large influx of dogs, and I'm confident that they are ready to go. But I'm sure they wouldn't turn down a little extra help if offered. If you are looking to lend a hand, then there are several ways to choose from. I recommend Googling greyhound adoption groups near where you live. Their website or Facebook page will have contact info where you can ask if they are expecting to receive Florida dogs and what assistance they still need. Perhaps they're looking for additional foster homes. If you don't have a living situation that allows you to have a dog in your home at this time, then perhaps you can offer financial assistance. As I mentioned earlier, vet bills can be steep. The adoption group's website or Facebook page should be able to confirm if they are established as a 501c3 nonprofit organization who will use your donation appropriately. And look, I get it. We've been living with the COVID-19 plague for this whole last year. A lot of people are without jobs, and maybe you aren't able to afford a monetary donation. In that case, perhaps a donation of your time can be offered. For example, adoption groups may need someone to pick up and drive a dog to that vet appointment. In these final days, the adoption groups will be aware of what they are running short on. Adoption groups are trying their best to make this all go as efficiently as possible, but there are going to be hiccups. They most likely will be taking in more dogs than they're accustomed to or were able to generate funds for, and that can make this stressful for everyone. A thing to remember is that these 501c3 nonprofit organizations are staffed entirely by volunteers who do this in their free time, outside of their full-time jobs. So with your eagerness and your enthusiasm to offer them help, I ask that you also have some patience while you wait for them to respond. It may take them some time to get back to you. They're going to be really busy right now. There are over 100 greyhound adoption organizations across the country that are taking in Florida dogs, and they are going to be so grateful for your assistance. Now, as I mentioned earlier, 2 years ago I made a video explaining Florida Amendment 13, and a link to that is right here. On this side of the screen are links to the next and previous episodes of The Greyt Show. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel with this link right down here, and you can follow us on social media at Greyt Show. Thank you very much for watching, and for volunteering. Have a great day.